Hey, and welcome to Digital PL. Well, today we're working on the intro badge to Google Docs, one of the most powerful word processing tools on the market. For this badge, you can see we've got a list of critical skills, and these are things that Google has determined that are most important for basic users to be able to do to say that they've mastered all of the processes that Google Docs can handle. So today we'll focus on page formatting, inserting non-text elements, alerting text. So today we'll focus on page formatting, inserting non-text elements, altering text attributes, adding tables, collaborating and sharing, and inserting hyperlinks. So to guide this video, I'm going to walk through the list of tasks that I've created to help you show off the fact that you know. To guide this video, I'm going to walk through each step listed in the task portion of the badge to help you. Come on, guys. On the Digital PL website, you'll see a list of tasks that you'll need to complete to earn this badge. And these tasks are designed to help prove mastery of the critical skills that Google's listed for you. In this video, I'm going to walk through each task step by step, explaining what I'm doing and why I'm doing it in the process. If you feel like you already know how to do all of these things, you're more than welcome to submit any Google document that proves each of these elements. If you feel that you know how to. If you're already a Google Docs master, then feel free to submit any Google document that you've already created, but make sure that it includes evidence of each critical skill. So let's get started with our first task. On the web page, I can see that it says create a Google Doc and set it to landscape mode with 1-inch margins all the way around. Over here, I've got my Google Drive open. This is probably one of the best ways to create Google Docs and to keep them organized in folders that'll help you find them later. So from Google Drive, I'll need to click the New button and select Google Docs. To the right side here, there's a small arrow that if you hover over it, you'll see two options. You can create a blank document, or you can create a document from a template. They've already got several things ready to go for you here, from letters to resumes and lesson plans. This is a great tool to use in the future, but for today's video, we're just going to use a blank document. Now, the first and most important thing that we need to do in order to complete this task is to go ahead and title our document. To earn this badge, it's a great help for me if you would go ahead and put your last name, and then you can title it the Google Docs Intro Badge. Click off of this space here. You can see that Google will automatically save everything that we do, so no need to worry about finding a save button. It'll do that by itself. All right, back to our tasks. Set it to landscape mode with 1-inch margins all the way around. So by default, we're going to get this in portrait mode and an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which is standard for our printers. But sometimes we need it in a different format. So what we'll do is we'll click File and scroll down to Page Setup down here under Print or above Print. And now we can see we've got two options for our orientation, portrait and landscape. The task asks us to put it in landscape mode, so we'll do that. Now it says 1-inch margins all the way around by default. Google Docs has everything set to 1-inch margins, but if you ever do need to change it, you can do that right here. Just click on one of those options and delete that and edit it to something else. But we'll leave that as it is for now. Okay. All right, to our next step. It says insert a photo at the top of the document and center it. To insert a photo, we're going to need this button here. It says image, so I can click that. And then I've got a couple of different options here. I can upload a photo from my computer if I've already got photos saved to my computer hard drive that I want to use. I can search directly from the web. I can pull in photos from my Google Drive or my Photos account through Google. I can add photos from the URL, or I can use the camera to turn on my computer's webcam and take a photo that way. For this video, I'm just going to search the web. And this is really neat because it pulls up the Google search engine right here in a small tab, so it doesn't take you to another page. And let's say I'm going to do popcorn. Insert that and hit enter. And I see all of these images of popcorn now. One thing about this is if you do use the search feature to add images to your Google Docs, these are going to be, the results here are going to be things that are only open copyright. So if you're looking for something in particular, like a logo or anything that might be under copyright protection, you'll have to go open a new tab and go directly to Google Images to do your search that way. And then you can just copy the image and find the URL from there. But these are all open copyright. I'll click one and I'll click insert. Let me hide that. Insert. And the image should pop up right in the middle of my page here. Now this is pretty large and I don't need it to be this big. So I'll click on the image and I'll have all these little squares pop up. And I'll click one in the corner and that'll resize the whole thing. It'll keep the same aspect ratio as well, so the image isn't squished. See, if I click one of these side images and try to make it bigger that way, it stretches the image and it makes it not look as clean. So you want to use these the squares in the corner. Now that I've got my image in here, it says that I need to center it. So what I'll do is I'll come up to my toolbar here and I'll see this option here. It says align. If I hover over it, it's a series of lines and a down arrow. Now if I click that down arrow, I'll get some more options. And I'm looking for this one. It says center align, but it also tells me I could use Control-Shift-E to do this without pressing any other buttons. So when I click that center button, my image pops into the center and I can move on to the next task. Next, it says create a title under the document with the title text type. Turn the title into a hyperlink to any website. All right. So back over here to my document, I'm going to click off of my image, and then I'm going to press enter to go under this image, and I'm going to call this, there's my title, popcorn document. Now it says to use to Next, I notice it tells me to use the title text type. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, what I want my title to be, I'm going to click and hold and drag my mouse across it to highlight that text. And I'm going to go up to my toolbar where it says normal text, styles. If I hover over it, click that drop down menu and then select title. Now here's an option menu where I can do some other things. Next, I noticed that it says use the title text type. So to do that, I'm going to highlight what I want my title to be by clicking and holding with my mouse and dragging across the text. And I'm going to come up here to the Styles menu where it says Normal Text. Click that drop-down menu and then select Title. Now this does a couple of things. One, it changes the font type and makes it larger, easier to see. But also, if eventually, as we move further into Google Docs skill territory, we're not going to cover it in the intro video, but we can use these things to create outlines and bookmarks for the document to make it easier to skip around, especially in longer documents. It's a much simpler way of finding things that we need. But more on that later. Next, it says to turn the title into a hyperlink to any website. So now what I'll need to do is I will highlight my title again, and then I'm going to use my Digital PL website. So I'm going to click in the URL or Google's Omnibox up here at the top, and I'm just going to copy that. You can right click and then click copy, or you can just use the keyboard shortcut Control C. And then I'm going to come back over here to this the title that I've highlighted. And then I can select the insert link icon or the keyboard shortcut Control K. And then I can paste that link in the menu that comes up here and click apply. It'll turn that text blue and underline it for me to help me know that I've created that as a hyperlink. Next, it says copy paste the Lorem Ipsum text found below and change it to 14-point Georgia font, double spaced. So I've placed that further down on the website here. You can find that. So just click and highlight with your mouse, copy it, Control C or right click, and come back to your Google Doc and paste. Now we see that we've got to do a couple of things here. One, we've got to change the whole thing to 14-point Georgia font, double spaced. So again, we'll highlight it, and we'll come up here to this this number up here. It says font size. I'll click that, and I'll select 14. We'll go to the font type section. It says Arial by default. We'll highlight that and scroll down our list until we find Georgia. There it is. And the whole thing changes. And then we said double spaced. So again, it's still highlighted. I'm going to travel to the up down, this up down icon here where it says line spacing, and then select, I see I have a couple of options here, single, 1.15, which is the default for some reason, 1.5, and of course double. If for whatever reason any of these don't necessarily work for you, there is an option down here at the bottom for custom spacing, so you can change that to whatever you need it to be. There are these two options as well for adding spaces before and after paragraphs. Generally, I leave these out and make those changes as I need to, but if formatting requires an extra space before or after, you can always click this button and it'll change that for your whole document. Double. All right, now that I've got that done, I can see that my next task is to bold the first sentence. So I'm going to highlight just that first sentence, and then I can use the keyboard shortcut Control B as in Bravo, or I can use from my toolbar icon up here, the bold button. I'll select that. Now I'll select the second sentence and italicize it. Highlight, and, right here. And in my toolbar, it's this slanty I that's going to italicize our text. Or again, the keyboard shortcut is Control I. A third step here is to underline the third sentence. So I'm going to highlight the third sentence and use my toolbar again to underline or Control U. And the fourth step is to strike through the fourth sentence. This one's a bit tricky because the button for striking through isn't in your toolbar here. So you'll need to go to Format, and then Text, and then strike through. And even the keyboard shortcut for this one isn't necessarily a shortcut. Alt-Shift-5. Quite a combination of button presses there. So we'll click that, and it'll strike through that text. This is great for lists or to-do lists when you want to strike through something that you've completed. You don't necessarily want to delete it. You want to see that it's still there, but you want to strike it off that list. All right, next step, make the fifth one red. So we'll highlight the fifth sentence, and then we'll go up to this icon. It says text color. If I highlight it, you'll click that, and then we've got all of these different red options here that I can select from. Or if there's a very specific version of red that you want to use, you can use the custom option here. But we'll just go with this one for now. And then we'll highlight the sixth sentence. So again, I'll highlight this with my mouse, and then I'll come back up here to text color and go one over, highlight color. And then I can use any of these colors again to highlight the background of the text, like that. All right. Moving on, insert a table with 7 columns and 4 rows. Label each column with the day of the week. Make the Friday column purple. So there's a lot of things going on here in this one step, but it's really not that complicated. So I'm going to go to the end of my text. I'm going to hit enter twice just to give me some new space. Insert a table. So I'm going to go to Insert, and then down the menu here to Table, where you'll see this menu here that allows you to create the table with as many cells as you need. I think it goes up to 20 by 20. Yep. But our direction says 7 by 4, 7 columns and 4 rows. So I'm going to go across 7 and then down 4. Once I get it where I want it, I'm going to click, and here's my table in my document. Now it says label each column with a day of the week. So I'll start with that first one, and I'll go to Monday, Tuesday. I'm using the tab key on my keyboard to shift to the right one cell. That helps save some time so I don't have to click every time. I'll click enter to go. Nope, no, I won't. Once I've got each column labeled with the day of the week, the next step is to make the Friday column purple. So what I'll do is I'm going to highlight Friday and drag it down until all of the cells in that column are highlighted. And now on your screen, if you're in full screen, you may see this option in your toolbar, but since I'm doing this split thing here, I'm going to click this these 3 dots, this more option, and I'm looking for this paint can. It says background color. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'll get the same color palette menu here, and it says to do purple. So it's magenta. That's going to be close enough. Oh, there it is. It says purple. Purple. So we'll click that, and it'll highlight the whole thing purple for us. And now, on to our next step. It says leave a comment on any part of the document. So Google actually makes this very simple. What I'll need to do is I'm just going to highlight any phrase of the document here, and then you can see here when I do that, this little bubble pops up on the right-hand margin that says add a comment. If you don't see this, you can click this icon right here next to where we inserted our image and did our link. It says add a comment. And then you can see your account name information will appear here, and I can insert a comment well, anything that I need to say about the document. So once we move on and we collaborate with this document, we share it with other individuals. This comment feature allows us to have a conversation about the materials in that document as we need to discuss them. So I'll type what I need to say, and I will click comment, and it saves that comment there for others to view when they come to access this page for us. What's also great is when they come in, they can click on your comment and they can leave you a reply. And you even have this resolve button here. So say this is a to-do thing. Make sure let's see, we'll highlight our chart here. Oops, cancel. Let me undo that. We'll highlight our chart. We'll leave a comment that says, please fill this out. And then we'll click comment. So someone can come in, they can resolve, they can ask a question, say, well, what do I do? What do I do with Friday? And you can begin the conversation that way. And then once it's completed, you can click resolve. Another option here is you can use the @ icon and select one of the find individuals from your contacts list. And so when I send this comment, that person's actually going to get an email that says that I've requested someone to do this. And they'll be able to click on that email, and it'll bring them straight to this document, and they can complete that task for me. Lastly, what we need to do here is get a shareable link. And so this is the link that we're going to use to submit for our badge request form. So Google makes it nice and easy again. There's a big blue share button, top right-hand corner. So we'll click that. And then we're going to get shareable link and click this right here. And you see by default, it gives you the link here, but it says anyone at Baldwin County Schools with a link can view. So these are only individuals who are signed in with an @baldwin.k12 Gmail account. And by default, this is probably going to be the best, most secure way to do things, but just in case, we can click this down arrow and we can edit this to anyone in Baldwin County Schools can comment, like we want them to do here. Anyone in the school system can edit. So if this is truly a collaborative document and you want other individuals to work on it with you, you really want to make sure that this says can edit. But if we click more down here, we'll have a few more options, particularly this one, anyone with the link. And then we can change that can view, can edit, can comment down here. So this is great if you wanted to share with students or parents or other individuals who may not have an @Baldwin email account. That way they can access this as well. Be careful about the on public on the web. If you select that, then anyone can search for and find the document online. So it's completely and totally open to the public. Be careful with that one. And click save. And now that we've saved, we can come back here and we can click copy link. And then we are all done. We can come back here, use the request a badge link at the bottom of the web page, and when we get to that portion of the form, we'll just click paste, and the link will go right in where it needs to go, and you are all set. You are now a Google Docs Intro master. Thanks for watching.